Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Hotel Marketing Live Show. And today it's once again a revenue oriented theme. And I'm joined here by Tamara and Imran. Would you like to briefly introduce yourselves? Go ahead, Tamara.
How are you? Always excited to be here. I am Tamara Moloui, founder of Monovan Digital, and super excited to be here in the Hotel Marketing Show, talking marketing and talking about revenue management today with Imran and Michelle. Super excited about this conversation. Last time was crazy.
Go ahead, Imran. Let us know who you are. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Mired, and thank you, everyone, for this for bringing me this on board. And it's a very great session where we discussed last time on OTAs, and it's I would say it's the second part of it, and very interesting topics were discussed, and a lot of new points were came out. So wonderful. I'm looking forward to a very wonderful debate and discussions on OTAs and distributions. So yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much, Imran, for joining us. And so the reason why, so we scheduled this not very long ago, right? And I will tell you something. So the past couple of days, I've been looking on booking.com for so many hotel stays because I'll be spending a few weeks in different locations over the next couple of months. Yeah. So and Michelle also just joined us. Welcome, Michelle. So before I go ahead,
Hi.
maybe Michelle, why don't you introduce yourself also briefly to everyone who's listening and watching us?
Happy, I think it's Wednesday, everyone. I am Michelle Gordon with Lanyap Digital. I am happy to be in the room and thank you for allowing me in on the delay. It has been an interesting technical morning, I should say, but good to see everyone.
Good to have you here, Michelle. So, as I was telling Tamara and Imran and everyone who's listening to us, I spent the past couple of days, I spent a lot of time on booking.com because I'll be in 4 different cities over the next 2 months. So, I was looking at prices. So, the prices of the places where I'm going are quite high at the moment. Yeah. Travel is back. You can tell that travel is back, especially in the Middle East, and prices are going really high. So, of course, we have to, I have to look after my budget. I can't just spend billions of dollars on hotel nights. So,
Right.
booking.com was quite helpful. And interestingly enough, I got to know about a hotel which is quite new. I will not mention which hotel in that city. It's an independent hotel. Good reviews so far. New by new, I mean I spent around I think 6, 7 months. Independent reviews look very good. The images look amazing and everything. Independent, and so no big brand name. And I was thinking to myself, without Booking.com, there's no way I would have known about this hotel. Yeah. So my question for the first round, when a hotel is deciding on which channels to be on, are these channels complementary to PR? Because I was wondering, a hotel like this might not afford PR representation, right? Let's say a PR representation in Europe. And are the two complementary somehow? A question to everyone. Tamara, go ahead.
I guess so. I guess they are complimentary, right? Because as you're saying, they weren't on booking.com, they wouldn't be able, you wouldn't find them. And then if they can't afford PR at this point in time, that's a really great place for them to look at investment, right? Where am I investing my money and where can I get more people coming to the hotel? PR, while it is amazing, definitely sometimes is a little bit more about awareness. And again, if they're smaller budgets, I think it really gets them super focused on achieving their goals of getting people to the hotel. So I think they can go together. But I think when you're streamlining your strategy, you have to look at what makes sense for the budget that you have.
So are they perfect substitutes? Imran, are they perfect substitutes? So can one say, okay, I'll completely give up PR and I'll just rely on these distribution channels? Imran, your thoughts?
No, no,
No?
no, no, no. It
Very
doesn't
clear.
work
No.
like that. Definitely not. But what every hotel or from a e-commerce point of view, let's say if any property is on a pre-opening stage, so they make sure that all the ticks are marked and they are live or they are there on all the channels. So which is OTA is one of it. So both works together. So on the other hand, you're doing from your marketing point of view, you're doing a PR from your, and then if you're live on OTA as well, which will all help which will also help your spreading or give to your PR agency or to your partners. So both work parallelly.
Work.
It can't be a substitute of each other.
Good point.
That's my
Michelle,
take. I
you're.
mean, I believe, yeah.
No, sorry, Imran, because you broke for a second, so I thought you were done. Sorry so much for interrupting. Um, Michelle,
Yeah. I think there is a symbiotic relationship between OTAs and the properties. It is an important relationship. It is definitely uh, should be considered something that they have to do, and it is a part of your sales strategy and part of your marketing strategy. However, it's important for the hotel to own their PR and not hand that over to an OTA for them to then take strides and run with it as the primary source of their booking, because they are solely, they're not agnostic. It's all about them. And the property will then give over more than just PR. They're giving over their livelihood, they're giving over their expense line, they're giving over their entire marketing initiative and their mix of business strategy for OTAs, and that's just not a smart fiduciary move.
it's interesting that you all say this. Yeah, Tamar, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Well, last time you guys were here, you guys talked about some hotels that actually have OTA specific strategies. I think Imran, you brought it up,
Sure.
right? And so the thing is, does PR drive? Does PR drive heads and beds, or does PR drive awareness and recognition? Now, I understand that they go hand in hand, but if we're looking at the type of hotel Moret's talking about, that boutique hotel that may not have as much revenue, that may have a OTA specific strategy to
And
get
it's
to,
very new, right?
it's very new, right? So is PR, and again, PR is important for all the PR people out there in the chat who are going to come for me. PR is important, but if I had to choose one, right, what is the thing that I'm going to choose based on my budget, based on what I have? And so, these, I feel like these were your words, guys. So I'm just
Yeah. Well, here's what I have to say about that. It is a part of the strategy. What we're talking about is front end and getting your name out there. But what are we also talking about on the back end that you're also giving up for that? 15 and in the most independent spaces, it's over 20%, bordering on 30% of your revenue that you're giving for those bookings. A percentage of your inventory that is being required. They're requiring rate parity, that there is no cheaper price than theirs on your home website, despite the 30% that you're given. They're also, in many instances, asking for marketing money to go along with that. So is that really the wisest move? Or should you have an omni-channel, omni-strategy, omni-segment plan where this is a complement to other things that you're doing so that you can still own your brand, own your name, own your bottom line? What we're not talking about is the back end costs that are being attached to this and ownership of your inventory that goes along with it. Again, I
But a
think
PR
it's important
agency
to
is
have
not
it.
cheap either. Yeah, PR agency can cost. So I can tell you, for a Middle Eastern luxury hotel, usually it's 5,000, 6,000 per month. Go ahead, Imran.
Mirat, actually, you said what I want to say.
Okay.
The PR, yeah, this is one of the main important point. PR is not cheap. PR is the most expensive segment of the marketing, and at one phase, I believe, for some services, not maybe for all, depends. You have to pay the fees at forefront, but on the OTA side, you have to pay the most of the time you're paying the commission, which is after the booking. So that's where the
So,
hotel has to manage their budget. And when we are talking about the independent hotel, it also depends what size it is. Let's say if an independent hotel of 4-star category where they don't have that budget for the marketing or PR, they are solely dependent on the OTA or the online presence. Maybe they can do the PR, but not on that scale where the branded properties are doing.
I
So
would
it,
like to
it
add another
depends. Yeah.
point, because usually when you
Disagree.
hire a PR agency, you hire a PR agency for a specific market, right? So you hire a PR agency for the French market, the US market, the UK market. Whereas with an OTA, you're, especially at the beginning, you want to gauge interest to see where are travelers coming from, who would be interested. You also learn. An OTA can give you the opportunity to learn a little bit, right, about travelers who are interested in your property, right? Then, if you see that there's a massive interest, I don't know, from the Italian market, then you hire a PR agency in the Italian market, let's say, for instance, right? I am a bit against spending, although I am originally from PR and communications, but spending too much money on PR when you are not very sure where your travelers will come from. So I found this amazing hotel. I even just half an hour ago, I recommended to another person who'll be traveling there, right? Saying, look, I found this on booking.com and it looks very good. And this is the best PR. It's word of mouth. People find you wherever they find you, on booking.com, in a magazine, wherever, and then they talk about you. So yeah, the reason why I'm bringing this up is another reason. And Imran, we've also worked together on a very important opening of a very not a cheap hotel. Is that usually PR and distribution, they're not chosen together. Let's be very honest. Yeah, the decision at the hotel, individual hotel level. I'm not sure about corporate hotel, but individual hotel level. Usually the conversation, there are two separate conversations of which PR agencies to hire and where to distribute the hotel revenue wise, right? So that's what's troubling me a little bit, because I thought maybe they should be complementary. The conversation maybe should happen together. I don't know, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation should absolutely happen together, right? If you're going to do a PR strategy, I mean, and I think there's some really great points there, right? Understanding the feeder markets, understanding where, what the OTAs might provide, and then rolling it into PR. But it should be a conversation that's happening together, because PR is still a part of your marketing strategy, right? I don't think that we can separate PR and marketing, because the big thing is visibility. So if those budgets make sense and you're thinking it through, yes, 100%, you should have the conversation together. And now what Michelle said absolutely makes sense, right? There are back end costs that we may not be talking about, but identifying when am I going to run this PR strategy and how am I going to use it to actually draw more people into my hotel is going to be important. But the conversations should not be siloed. When these conversations are siloed, it doesn't really work to help achieve those goals together, right?
Correct. I believe that. It is, I think we need to start at home base and understanding what is the hotel strategy? What is your core goal in the long run and the segments of business that you're seeking to have come into your building? I think, Marette, you said something that's really key in understanding who your clients are and what's going to generate business to your area. If you're seeking something, business from Italy, if it's from Asia, that you want the business to come into your building, is there viability to come into not just your hotel, but into the market? That's one way, by understanding the bookings that are coming in. There's also partnerships with different businesses that actually provide that data to you, so that you can make an assessment by the seasonality in advance by paying for a subscription versus giving up your inventory and 30% of your room cost. So there are ways that you can manage it. It is absolutely necessary to have that relationship with an OTA. I'm just saying that you need to have control of your own destiny. And one of the lessons that we all learned back in the 2008 crisis in this is that we gave our business everything up to them, and it took almost a decade to recover that back, for the hotels to really understand, well, here's the advantages of working with them: the visibility. Their tentacles reach numerous places. I mean, let's be real. Expedia, over the course of time, I think they have acquired, probably, I want to say it's upwards of between 25 and 30 different other OTAs across the board, so that between them and bookings.com, they own the space globally, with a number of other agencies that roll up to them. So their power and that visibility is profound. We have to honor that, acknowledge it, respect that. Not a problem there. However, it doesn't mean you give your inventory, all of your inventory. It's a segment of your business. It can be a part of your PR and your marketing strategy. But there's other versions of business that can come into your building. And just like when you calculate that 30% or whatever it is in totality that you're given, is it wiser to carve out some of it to keep internal, build out your marketing arm, build out your strategy, test it, and over the course of, not overnight, because this isn't an overnight thing, over the course of time, and that might take a year or two to develop that piece of business to bring in who you need to have into your building to accomplish what you want in visibility, feeder markets, revenue into the bottom line. We
And
have
yeah,
done
that's
it
why
in the
we talk
past.
about
Yeah,
strategy, right?
yeah,
Imran, you wanted to say
correct.
something? I saw you raised your hand.
Uh, See, I agree with Michelle. Absolutely, that's where. But the thing, what Michelle is talking about, to do that or to come up with that strategy and that thinking, you need a superheroes in your team, right?
So you're
And
saying there are no superheroes in hotels?
no, no, I'm not. I'm completely not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of challenges when we talk about the independent hotels. I have worked with a few couple of independent hotels, and I have faced so many challenges because when you talk about the brand, any brand properties, they have support from the corporate offices, right? Financially, or even from the marketing perspective, there are some people who can help you, but independent hotels are not like that. They have a limited budget. They are limited, and PR is something like you have to be consistent in your PR, otherwise your all your efforts will die soon. So, and what the owner or the, if you think from an owner or the investor point of view, they need the result, they need the money, they want to see the ROI of it. How you gonna judge of the ROI of a new property unless until you run it for 1 or 2 year, what Michelle was talking about. You have to keep on building this relationship, and your maintain that marketing for 1 or 2 year to see the results. So it has to
I
be both way. You have to maintain the balance of certain inventory what you're giving to your OTA, and keep something for your marketing, so that once you run any PR or any activity on offline or other from other source, you have some tactical also to support that. So in both way, you getting the online business, one is from the OTA and the direct channels. So that's how we maintain the business,
I
and
think
that's where we come in. That's where we come in. Our
mhm,
service comes in, right?
sure.
So to guide the properties where
Yeah.
to and how to do that.
Imran,
Michelle
I think
wanted
you're
to say
right.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think again, short-term, long-term strategy, segmentation, what is the end goal? The owner trumps everything in what they're seeking. And it is incumbent upon the people that they've hired, that they've invested in, to give them the best advice for what they're trying to achieve overall. And it goes back to the talent and their investment in the people that they're bringing into their building. And it is, again, I had strong relationship with my OTA partners, but there it was quite clear, here's my goal. Here's what we're trying to accomplish in our building, and this is exactly what we can do within the 4, 5, 6 properties that we manage within. So how do we work together to accomplish your goals? Because there's a why in it for you, but here's my bottom line and what we can do, and this is the flexibility that I have. I maintain control. We are taking care of the best interests of our stakeholders. We're managing into the goals and strategies that we've dictated for our hotel, short and long term. And we are maintaining great partnerships and bringing new people into the business. So I think that there's a way to do it, but own your business. Don't hand it over.
Tamara?
No, I mean, listen, they are winning me over. But I love the idea of owning the business, right? And really identifying the strategy. And of course, I think as they both mentioned, it takes time. So as a hotel, you have to understand the timing that's the amount of time that's going to take, and have realistic goals, right? What are the goals? How realistic are they? And then again, looking at the right mix of business. And again, I think the OTAs, that percentage that you're paying, looking to see, could we leverage this for other things? So I think when you're pulling a strategy together, it's about having an open mind to how do you get to those goals, and then really looking, as Imran said, right, looking at the right experts to to bring them in to help you get to that place. And that's why we're here in the hotel marketing space, right? Talking about this because we are the experts that can really help guide you to that place of what does the right distribution strategy look like for your hotel, and help you to really get to achieving those business goals.
So I think we all agree that when we talk about hotel distribution strategy, it's not only on which channels, but it's also on which markets, and maybe also thinking maybe it's not online marketing that will help us get us there. Maybe it's PR, right? It really depends, I think, I personally believe on the type of hotel, right? A massive luxury resort might get so much more from luxury PR, and others from OTAs. So I personally think the conversation, as you said, it is always siloed. Sadly, the two conversations are never, just don't happen. They're two separate conversations, whereas I personally think they should happen, and they should happen from the very start, right? And then obviously there's some fine tuning along the way. But if we go back to the example of a small boutique hotel that actually looks very good from the pictures, I will tell you after when I've stayed there if it's really very good or not. Runs deals on booking.com. I think I got 20% off being a Genius Level 3. The reviews are very good from people from different countries. Yeah. So I think for such a hotel without any corporate support, OTAs is the right place to start. So my question to you all, is this something we can generalize? So what I just said, is it something that can be generalized, or is it just crap what I'm saying?
Can I
Go
answer?
ahead. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, we understand that the PR starts right before your hotel opening, right? Even if it's a boutique hotel or any independent or any category, even if it's a small level, the PR starts right from when you decide you want to open a hotel. Uh, there's the newspaper articles and those things. So once you comes online or on print, say whatever comes on print, it comes on online as well. So the footprints always remains there, and then the OTA comes only after your once you decide you want to open, and then the hotel is open, then you start contracting the OTAs. So what I feel that PR will always be the first priority, but depend upon the budget and all those things. But we cannot make it generalized, because not every hotel has an option or privilege of doing PR at that level. So basically what they want, like for a small hotel or any small boutique, they want to
Yeah.
just start
So
it and
then you agree, for a
get
small
online.
hotel, it has to be OTAs.
Yeah, they
No,
want to
I
just get online
disagree.
and get the
Okay.
business.
Michelle
Yeah.
disagrees.
I
Tell us why.
disagree. Small, large, medium brand, non-brand boutique, budget friendly. We go back to the core of who are you and what do you want to have in your building? And the strategy is segmented and built upon that. Can OTA be a huge driver in giving you visibility? Sure. Again, the goal is to drive them to your brand website, and that's the lowest cost of doing business. Own the relationship, email, offline marketing, whatever we want to call it. That has to be a part of it. If we're leading with OTA, we're saying you own that customer, OTA. We're just a subsidiary of you. And that's not a smart move for any business, small hotel up to these massive luxury properties. Not a smart move, not a great financial move. They own your client. You don't. They own the relationship. You don't. So the question is what do you want to do with that?
Yeah. Imran,
Michelle,
go ahead.
yeah. Michelle, we are talking about the opening. While it's only 6 months, what Mirit said, right? In 6 months, let's say you in a 6 month you have your own website. How many traffics you will get in 6 months? What will be the size of your database? So there will be some certain limitation. I agree with your point on a long term view. Where after 1 or 2 years, when you have enough database, enough repeater clients, then you can move or shift your business to your direct channels. But I strongly believe, and practically I believe, the initial days you need definitely you need a support from OTA. Of course, the PR will be there, but see, I'm not
For
working for
small
OTA
hotels,
or
there will
supporting,
be no
but this
PR.
is
Yeah.
this is what
Right.
the experience of.
Yeah.
If it is, but the problem that I have with giving them my inventory to that nature and giving them the ability to be the lead in my PR effort is they again the struggle that you will have in shifting that client back to you remains there because you get lax in your efforts. The business is coming through the
Well, it's
building.
better than
So that's
having
what you're
no
saying.
business in the first few months of operation.
But so who says that you have to have no business? How about having the right relationship with the right people to bring the business in the door? It
But
does
these
not
are
have to
small
be.
hotels. They are small hotels.
But Loretta, understand, we work with small hotels. We've done this. I wouldn't be saying it if I hadn't done it myself.
So
I've
how do
seen
you
it
do it?
happen. I've seen it happen. It's all of the components that we've all talked about. I'm not saying again throw them out the window and not have a relationship. I'm saying have a relationship with them. Have a relationship with multiples of people and be agnostic. Bring other people into. I have relationships with multiple places. We're talking digital and having things online, but remember we've also talked about other relationships that we have to have. It is a multi-channel, omni-channel, omni-segment that we're looking at. Where we have been saying turn this over. That's one
No,
channel of
but I
business
think
that
we
we're bringing
agree
into
on
our
the
building.
multi-channel. It's the proportion. So for a very small boutique hotel with no brand support, it will be maybe 60% of your inventory that will have to depend on OTAs.
Why?
I'll tell you. I can
Maybe,
explain.
I
okay, go
disagree.
ahead,
I
Imran and
disagree.
Samara. Yeah, go ahead.
See,
Go ahead.
I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting. Okay.
No one's
Very,
fighting
very
here.
okay.
We see
Uh,
the smoke, we see the fight.
See, when we're talking about non-branded or independent properties, especially small categories or low inventory properties, uh, I believe before, since there is no corporate help or there is no support from the head office or anything is there, so OTA remains your main source of business. Of course, everything is there. You have your sales manager, you have your corporate, you have your groups, but initial days I believe you need the exposure also, like what Mirit says. She don't know that there was a property, something like that. She came to know once she went online on booking.com, right? So maybe even if you don't get a booking, at least you get exposure there, and you don't have to give the complete inventory to them. See, nowadays the technology is so good, you have your direct two-way connectivity, so you always have a control of limiting them on the inventory. You can have your you can keep your hurdle points on your minimum length of stay, so at least you will get some confirmed room nights from them, where you can get a good business and revenue from OTA. At the other hand, once you get those business, you can yield on your, or you can have a good negotiation power for your corporate clients or your local FIDs.
I don't think we're
Samara,
disagreeing.
you
You
wanted to
said
say
some of the same things that I said, that it is it's a limited
something?
inventory. Limited inventory. You
Yeah,
control your business. Yeah.
But you
absolutely.
cannot tell OTA when you're alone in the market, with no support, that we will not give you that, or we are limiting in the inventory.
Of course you
Definitely you
can.
cannot
It's
say
your
that.
hotel. Of course you can. So you just validated my argument. And that you're saying that the OT you have to give the OTA your business, your hotel, your inventory, give them control in order for you to pay to play, is what you're saying. And that's
No, no, what I'm
exactly what
saying,
the hotel should avoid.
no, what I'm saying is that instead of telling them, or telling them that we will give, or we will have,
So you
we will
limit
give the
without
limited
telling them.
agreement.
Is that what you
But
want?
yeah, we do it from our end. And by doing this, you will maintain the relationship. You will
Again,
maintain
you're
the
saying
relationship.
you control the inventory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
But in the
I get to
relationship,
control
you
my
don't tell them
inventory.
we will limit. So you just lie
Yes,
to them.
yes, I'm not lying to them. It is a transparent relationship. Here's my goal for my hotel. I would love to do business with you. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. Let's work together to meet your needs as well as mine. But it is not, I'm going to give you my inventory, give you control, and you tell me what I can sell. You tell me what rate I have to offer. No, it doesn't work that way. This is my building. I own the inventory. I own the expense line. I own the goal. You're my partner.
Because Imran and I, we worked in the Middle East,
Yeah.
so you know, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
probably.
trends that
See, no,
we
no,
love.
I think what, yeah, what Michelle is saying, it's also a valid thing. It's also considered as a best practice, but depend upon the region where you're you know looking, where your property is. At some point, in the region where we work, there you have a lot of competitions. The moment you will say, okay, we will limiting it, the moment you will put restrictions on that, you will see the drop in your business from the OTAs as well, because
But
it's everything
Imran,
is
there's
all
a
about.
reason why there's why this has gone up to Supreme Courts, or the equivalent of it in many a country where they're regulating the OTA's ability to do this to hotels. There's a reason why it's been done, to prevent exactly what you're saying. Why don't, and that, if that's the case, why doesn't the hotel just open under booking.com or Expedia and say, I am a hotel and this is my pure booking channel. This is how you book and how you market, how you do everything is through them, and you're managing the hotel as well. Why not just do that if that's what you're asking to have them do?
Tamara, I let you intervene.
Oh wow, it's spicy in here today. I love these two. These two make it so good. So I'm gonna throw a little monkey wrench, which you haven't asked about. One of the things I would talk about would be something like a Google Ads, for instance, because this is where we can start competing with keywords that the OTAs are also competing with, right? While we may not have the budgets, there are definitely opportunities for time of day, all that stuff. So I think this is where digital marketing can really come in to play a role in that, segmenting the business and actually being able to get to some of those, again, those keywords, some of the things that the OTAs are still doing. And then the other opportunity is maybe keywords that the OTAs are not leveraging. And what Google Ads does, it gets you right in front of people that are searching for hotel in Saudi Arabia, hotel in the Middle East, whatever the case may be, right? So it's getting you people who are intentional. So if I had to recommend to a hotel, where would you start strategy wise? I would say, okay, great. I understand you have to start with the OTAs, but how do we mix that with a little bit of maybe Google advertising to get us to really test to see, because that's really the traffic, right? Getting that traffic to one side and then moving things over. And I know Michelle is, that's some of this stuff that she's talking about as to how are other ways to do that. And Google Ads.
There are definitely other ways. So there's the marketing, as you said, and we're all big fans of Google advertising here. There's PR, there's OTA. So there are different channels, right? That's the whole idea of having a strategy. Point is that the strategy really needs to take into consideration all these different channels,
Sure.
which are not just direct bookings or OTAs. In my opinion, that's why I started with this saying, PR is also a big part of it. Yeah. And then you rightly mentioned Google Ads. But what happens at the hotel level, sadly, is that, as I said, people don't talk to each other, right? The strategy tends to be very, very narrow-minded. Yeah. Now, maybe to conclude, let's have a final round on closing remarks. No fighting here. We're all friends. Closing remarks, maybe some food for thought for the next revenue conversation. I'll let you, Tamara, start since you've been listening quietly.
I think I love Imran and Michelle together. By the way, I feel like these are our best.
And it's good to have different perspectives.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Because that's very important.
It's so important, right? But I think, any hotel thinking about a strategy really has to think about, what am I trying to accomplish? It has to come back to those goals. And you really want to engage the right people in the conversation, right? The silos are the problem. Getting the right people engaged in the conversation is where you get to identify, these are the things that I could do in order to move my business forward. So I think it's really about breaking those silos, having the right people engage in the conversation, and looking at a strategy that's specific to you. Also understanding your competition. What are they doing? Because there's some things that you might be able to leverage there. So I'm excited to start working with hotels and help them pull together the best possible hotel distribution strategy for themselves.
Imran.
Well, I would say that it's now it's a time where we are seeing a lot of competitions in terms of the technology wise, and also the demand and supply. There is a lot of competitions over there. So the hotel needs to work on their strategy on for the distribution channel. They have to know that they have to keep the balance between their online segments. Completely depending on OTA will definitely gonna hurt their business. Sorry, I'm supporting Michelle here. I know this is
Sorry.
yeah. But at the end of the day, they also have to understand that OTA is not the enemy. OTA is also their one of the main source of uh,
For revenue.
channel where which brings the business. So they have to treat like that, and maintaining a relationship is something which will gonna work for them. Yeah, keep the basic things right, and everything works in place.
Michelle?
Yeah, I agree. I would say a hotel is really running 100% occupancy every day. Therefore, this is a partnership that it's important to you. They can drive, OTAs can drive visibility. They can fill room nights where you're struggling in, and with the right strategy in place and education, educating your teams and understanding the overall relationship will help to move your business forward. So it's important. I will go back and say, Imran, I had always had a great relationship with my OTA partners. It's important for you to have one. Plan your strategy, revise your strategy, keep lines of communication open with your partners so that the whys are answered and everyone is being fulfilled in the way that they need to achieve their goals.
Thank you so much, Michelle, Imran, Tamara, for this amazing conversation, heated conversation. This video will stay on our LinkedIn page and also on our YouTube channel. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye,
Take
Tamara.
care.
Bye, Michelle. Bye, Mirat.
Goodbye.